All right, all right, all right, all right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Coach's Corner. And we are here with Coach Cotton and myself, Coach Hadassah. Coach's Corner, where we
Yes.
help you get to your next level. So, how you feeling today, Coach Cotton, on this Freedom Friday?
Coach Cotton is feeling really good. Out and about today, y'all see this is real life. But I'm doing great. It's great. It's a freedom day. We doing freedom work, Coach. In
Freedom
my
Friday.
family, we having wealthy conversation and setting up legacy in the moment right now for Freedom Friday.
Yes. Yes. That is wonderful. That's wonderful.
Yes.
So you said that you were saying earlier, what you're doing something with your sister and a house.
Yeah, so my grandparents' house, my grandparents are still alive, but they moved back to Buffalo, New York. But they was living in Macon for a while, Macon, Georgia. So my grandfather wanted to give us the home, but it was like run down. So he didn't want to sell to the bank. He wanted to keep it in the family. So my sister, my older sister, she took lead on it. We got contractors, renovated the house, and now we have renters coming through it. So it's our investment property for the family. This house has been our family for 80 years,
Wow.
and yeah, so that's what we're doing. So it's wealthy talk, wealthy conversations on this Freedom Friday. We're super excited that it's almost finished. I wish I could show y'all right now, but we got the potential renters in there. So I'm like, I can't even show y'all the renovations. But if you would have saw it before, whew, it looked like an 80-year-old house, right? But now it's updated. Everything's up to code. So we're super excited about this accomplishment. And we're doing it as a family. So it's just not one person, but my sister, by her being the oldest, she did take lead on the project. So we are happy about the conversations that we're having as a family. We're not just getting together for barbecues and talking about nothing. We're keeping houses and bringing in currency that's going to last until whoever the next generations to come. So we're super excited about this.
Yes, yes, that's wonderful. And look, again, that's what it's all about. Like Coach Cotton
Mm-hmm.
said, wealthy conversations, keeping it in the keeping property in the family so that you can
Yeah,
pass it down. The grandparents passed it down. All right, you did the renovations and things like that, but look, that's
yeah,
income property,
yeah,
right?
absolutely.
It's income property. That's an asset.
That's
um,
it.
because I know I usually, like, say for instance, when buying a home, right, we hear that about, oh, buying a home and it's an asset and things
Mm,
like that. But actually it depends.
right,
Like when you buy a home, it depends. If When you buy a home, and if you're not getting, or I'll just say this, because first of all, you don't own it, especially if you got a loan.
right.
Right? Like,
It definitely is the banks.
yeah, it's the bank, because if you do not pay that mortgage, watch what happens. Let's see
They're
if
gonna
you
come take their house back.
right. Say if you own it or not, right? You end up in foreclosure. So that's one.
Hmm.
But when you're getting income from that property, and we could talk equity, we can have that talk about, okay, well, I mean, but the equity and blah blah blah. Well, it depends on the area, depends on the market. It just really depends if there will be equity in it or not. That was a
Right.
conversation. That was a part of the conversation. And I would say that's like, back in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, where it would be equity. But then, of course, you had in the 90s with that housing boom and the bubble and
Right.
just all of that stuff. And they were doing those, what would they call them?
Balloon.
Subprime.
Yeah, subprime lending, balloon contracts. It
Yes.
was horrible.
It
Horrible. Yeah.
was horrible. That was horrible. And I mean, and like here, there was a whole, I can't say it was a subdivision, but they had built these homes, right? these homes, and then there was even some townhomes that you could purchase. Well, that whole area where they built those homes and those townhomes, all of those people went in foreclosure.
Yep.
All
So sad.
So that let you know right there that something wasn't right. And it was
Right.
those subprime loans. Because I remember we were in the market to purchase our first home around that same time. And I mean, it was like they were willing to
No.
put us in these houses. And of course, they look at the wife, and that would have been me, to make the
Right.
decision to put on those emotional strings. I mean, that's sales taxes. That's what they do. Hey, the wife is going to make an emotional decision for the purchase,
Right.
and then so the husband will be like, well, okay, we're gonna, and then we end up in a mess. Well, I wasn't that wife. you know,
Right.
I
You
just
smart.
Right. I wasn't that kind of wife. I was that wife like, okay, so what's this mortgage gonna be? And and it's like, yeah, this how it looked nice and all of that. But I'm more concerned about if we're gonna be able to do this. And sure enough, I'm so glad that we didn't jump the gun with that, because all of those houses that they were building up, um, once you were, in there, and then they set the property taxes, those property, you already had the mortgage, and then those property taxes were like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ridiculous.
right,
Ridiculous.
ridiculously crazy, on top of the adjustable mortgage rates,
Mm-hmm.
because
And that's how they slap you with the payment. So basically, what they was doing back then is they wouldn't give you no fixed rate. They would give you a flexible rate. And so maybe a year, not even into your loan agreement, they'll do what they call a balloon payment. So basically, what that balloon payment does is this massive exponential payment that you have to pay. And if you can't meet the requirement of that payment in the time frame that they give you, which is normally really short, it's a short period of time, then that's how you go into foreclosure or can stand to be evicted out of your home, because you can't make that large payment. That payment, if you got a house that's $115,000, that's on the low end, and you only either put nothing down or 3% down, because that's how they was getting families in those homes. They was requiring either no down payment or very low percentage rate. So then you in there a year, then they smack you with a balloon payment, and the balloon payment could be $20,000. But which
right,
average family already has this like sitting on deck? That's in addition to your taxes for the house that you pay annually. That's in addition to your already pre-existing loan that you got, whatever lender you went with. And it's just so sad, because now people are losing their house like you described, with all those people going into foreclosure, because who can meet a balloon payment of 20 grand
yeah,
in like 6 months? You know what I'm saying? Like the average family is what the income bracket is anywhere from 30,000 to 50,000 a year. And
yes,
you want in 6 months to a year to produce 20 grand, that's over half of their annual income.
right,
Where is it coming from? And so then the lender will say, well, if you can't meet this payment, then you go into foreclosure. And then who has the money to prevent foreclosure? So guess what most people do? They do the quick impulsive thing, is then they go get a second mortgage on the home, which puts them in more
and
debt.
more debt. Yep,
Crazy.
it was.
It just
Yeah,
blows my
it
mind
was.
out.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I mean, but you had this talk about how, oh, be a homeowner because
Mm-hmm.
this and that, and it's like, but that wasn't the case.
No,
Right,
no.
that wasn't the case, and for so many people. And so it was a good thing that we didn't end up, emotionally purchasing,
Right.
at home like that. Because I mean, although
Right.
it was like, but
Right.
I will say that we were there for 13 years, as opposed
Mm-hmm.
to maybe a year, 2 or 5,
Right.
and then being evicted or something like that, and trying to find somewhere to stay,
Right.
because
Somewhere to
that's
go.
what happened to a lot of people. So that's that thing
Mm-mm.
about that. When we talk about assets and liability, asset,
Absolutely.
if it can bring you income, that's an
Right.
asset. It's a liability if it's just money being shared out, and
Right.
it's not producing that income or that passive income.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to purchase that property to bring income, passive income, or multifamily units,
Right.
um you
Right.
know yeah, things like that, as a first time purchase, just something
Right.
that's income producing, then
Absolutely.
that's
And what a
good.
lot of people don't know, coach, is the fact, like, and I learned this too when we was doing this project with my family, was you can own the home, but then you don't own the lot that it sits on. So what we had to do now is come together as a family and have another conversation. Why? Because we'd rather have the lot over the house,
Yes.
because the land is what's more important. So thank God, with our negotiations and talking to the lenders of the land, even
Yes.
though the home was ours, now we had to go back in and we negotiated and we bought the land. So now we own the land and the house that the house sits on.
Exactly.
but
And
people
that,
don't even understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, you celebrating because you own the house. But
but
then
it's
what if
sitting on
somebody
the
come and
land.
say, but it's sitting on the
But it's
land? So
sitting on the land.
all
Yeah.
they gotta do is say, well, I want my land. So what you gonna do about your house on my land? So what has to happen? You got to remove your house from that land or pay them now again another tax
Another
for
time.
the land tax.
Exactly.
But thank God, my sister, she's a master negotiator, master strategist, and we was talking to people, and we got the land and the home. So
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
like, you really gotta be, and when you're talking about financial freedom, you gotta look at the whole thing. Like, again, don't celebrate just because now you own the home. You gotta think about beyond that. That home is sitting on a lot.
It's sitting on the
So,
land.
and so that's what real freedom is. And now we have the what we're looking for, the resources to rent and to keep currency flowing into this family forever. Because we'll never sell the house. This house will always be rented because no one's gonna buy our home. And then even if my sister, let's say down the road, she decides to make a decision with everybody and sell the house, we still own the land. So you still gotta pay us for that land. So I was just like, when you talking wealth talk, you need to be ready to have that real freedom
Real
conversation, man. Those
conversation.
conversations are
Yes.
not easy to have. Those conversations, you have to prepare for them. You got to do your research, get educated, and it's been a learning curve. It's been learning for me. I've been getting educated through this process because I'm going. There's just some things I simply didn't know. I never owned a home. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what? So we got the house and now we gotta get the land. Like,
Yep. Yep.
come on. But that's
Yep.
the fact of the matter. And if the bank still own the land, you got to either have some good negotiating tactics or you're gonna be paying for the lot.
You're paying
So
for what? Yep.
be ready when you say you want to be wealthy and you want to do what the wealthy do. This is not something that we just talk to make it sound good. You want to be free in all aspects. You want to be freedom. And the only way you can get that freedom is having multiple streams of income coming into your household. You should be bringing in more than you're expensing out,
Yes.
period. So if you only got one income and that one ends, you're done. You're done. You have no other resource, right? So the name of the game, and that's what the video is about, is more income coming in, multiple streams of income coming
Yes.
in. Look, here my sister coming over here. Hey, Keisha. Look, y'all, I'm sorry. My sister just popped in. I told you I was sitting in the car.
Oh no, it's okay.
Oh, my coach is corner. She's like, my apologies. No, but yeah, coach, you can go ahead. She's trying to look. What you need?
Okay. So we
You got it.
okay, so we had a few videos. So which video are we getting into today?
The Bob Proctor video about the multiple streams of income, it should be no more than 5 minutes if you want to show that one.
Okay. Okay, so we're about to get into this video because again, look, you see the conversation that was just had about, look, land and that was the one thing that I always thought about, especially with just being in different, being in certain circles. Well, I wanted to know more and be educated about, property and buying land and stuff because I would always be in these, um, let's just say workshops, and we were looking at purchasing homes with the tax liens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
that's where I started to be like, because you have people who they didn't pay their taxes, then it's up for sale. So
right.
you can end up purchasing the property just based on them not paying their taxes. And that's when it sparked in my mind, like, you know what? It's the land. So when you say real estate is the land.
The land, right.
Not just the home. It is the land. Absolutely. Because it doesn't matter. Look, you could pay your mortgage all day and all night long. Don't pay them property taxes. Don't own that land. See what happens.
You still gonna lose. You're gonna lose. That's what's gonna happen.
And what you don't want to do is have somebody, buy or pay the taxes or buy the land from up under you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's deep. It's something else. So okay, here we go. Oh gosh. it's this. I can't wait till Sunday. Lord have mercy. Because I will have a new laptop because this one keeps freezing on me and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. All right, 1 second. Let me get into here we go. We're pulling it up. So you said this video is about it's we're talking about, look, Financial Freedom Friday. So this is about multiple streams of income. Here we go.
Yep, absolutely. It's Bob Proctor. If you guys don't know who Bob Proctor is, I suggest you do some research. Dr. Linda Rogers Brown speaks about Bob Proctor.
Uh-oh. Okay. All right. So hold on 1 second. I had to pull it up first, and now I'm coming back over to the screen. We're going to hit share.
It's going here. I might. Oh, well, you got turned off.
Okay, so are we there? Okay, I see. I need to do this here. All right, so here we go. The real secret to wealth, multiple sources of income on this Financial Freedom Friday.
I often take a look at what I'm earning and I have to laugh to myself because it's so far beyond anything I would even dream about when I started to read this. Then I started to understand earning money is like driving a car or combing your hair or getting dressed. You just have to learn how to do it. And once you learn how to do it, you can put it on automatic pilot. And of course, you put it on automatic pilot that it keeps growing. Now, there's 3 income earning strategies. There's only 2 ways to earn money. I'm going to give you 3 strategies, but there's only 2 ways. One is money at work and the other is people at work. So here's the 3 strategies. Refer to them as M1, M2, and M3. Now, M1 is not a good strategy, and yet it's used by 96 out of 100 people. 96% of the population are using M1 strategy, and it won't work. It's got a problem. It's got a serious problem. It's called saturation, because this is where you trade time for money, and the person runs out of time. M2 is a great strategy, but it's only used by 3 people out of 100, and for very good reason. This is where they put money to work. They put money to work earning money. Now, M3 is something I stumbled on back in the 60s. And I didn't understand what I had been doing. But I was earning a lot of money. And so I thought, what is the difference between people that are earning millions or earn a million? What is the difference? And I couldn't figure it out. And so and then I thought, I know what the difference is. They don't just have one source of income. And only 1% of the population follow this strategy. These people multiply their time by setting up MSIs, multiple sources of income. Now, I want you to think, our world is changing. There is just absolutely no question about it. And the world's not getting bigger. The world's actually getting smaller. You're only a short time away from anywhere in the world. It's actually getting smaller. We can have business all over the world. You can have it all over the world. You can have business all over the world through multiple sources of income. This is a given. This is real. This isn't some neat idea that you're hearing in a seminar. This is something you can do. You can set them up all over the world. You can actually have sources of income. You can have money coming from places that you never dreamed of. This is like Monopoly. It's a cute game, but is it real? No, it's real. It's very real. You can just keep adding sources of income. There is no end to it. You think, wow, are they all the same size? No, they're not all the same size. It would appear that way. They all have one thing in common. Look at the screen real carefully. They have one thing in common. They all flow into your bank. Ding, ding. You like that? Yeah, it's beautiful. And it just keeps adding up. Yeah. Isn't that cool? From every part of the world, it just keeps coming in. And I love it. I just love it. So much fun.
I hope you enjoyed this video. We put a lot of good information up here, and it causes everything in your life to get better. If you'd like us to notify you every time we put a new video up, hit subscribe and then turn on notifications.
Okay, wow. I love it. I loved it.
Yes, it was a great video. When I saw it, I was like, idea. Let me give it a coach and see how she likes it.
Now, listen, I'm so glad that we watched that video because he went into those three, you got the M1, the M2, the M3, right? Then, money at work, people at work, but then, of course, they're passive. Now, I want to speak to something when he said, because everybody know this one, trading time for money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Trading time for money. That's whether you're employed or self-employed.
Right.
Right? Now, there was something that I saw earlier in my on my timeline on Facebook. And I said that I was going to do a video about it. But I'm going to speak about it here too on the Coach's Corner. But I'm still going to do a video about it because it's just something that needs to be said, and more people need to think about it. Right. But I'm going to speak to it in terms of what this is. So the post that I saw was someone who they were saying something about $250 for box braids for a child, right? $250. Listen, $250 for box braids for a child, and they didn't like that, right? Now, as a consumer, I get it. Okay. But then there's always different perspectives. So now, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I started out before I went to beauty school, before I got my license, I was a braider. I started out braiding hair. And, I learned to do the chemical processes and all of that too. Cause I wanted to be versatile, be able to do anybody's hair. I could do white people hair. I could do black people hair. I could do hair. Right. So now, mind you, let's see. I did my sister's hair for prom, her high school prom, and I was in the 6th grade when I did her hair for prom. Okay, look, relaxer, everything. So I was doing that. So fast forward, as I'm in high school, 16, 17, 18 years old, and I'm doing braids. Okay. Still living in my mama's house, but I was a teenage mom, so I had children. Okay. But still living at home. But I'm helping pay bills and buy groceries and stuff like that. I had to buy stuff for my children and myself. So mind you, I'm a teenager and I'm doing micro braids, right? For $40.
Wow.
Okay?
Cheap.
You talking about dirt cheap, right? $40. I'm doing micro braids but one person, just me by myself. So you talking about having to take breaks. I mean, I had gotten my timing down to 8 hours.
Wow.
But 8 hours, $40. Okay. So, of course, everybody, I'm doing grown women's hair. I'm like 16, 17, 18 years old. They 30, 40, working class and everything. Of course, they're coming to me $40 by, micro braids and stuff like that. But mind you, this is like the 90s. So and when I say 90s, I'm talking about early 90s. I'm talking about 90, 91, 92, 93.
Right.
So I remember, fast forward some years. So this was about 94, 95. I was about to start going to cosmetology school. I'm in my own apartment now. So, it's just me and my children. And a woman, I had did her hair before. And no, I didn't. I did the hair of someone who referred her to me. So it just so happened that I did her hair, and the very next day I was moving. So I had to stop, and then she had to come back to me the next day. I'd have moved and everything.
Wow.
Did her hair one day, stop, moved. Then she come to the new apartment. I finished her braids. Now I'm like broke. I mean, broke. I finished her hair. Now I'm stopping. Got to take my kids to school. All of this stuff. When I finished her hair, she handed me a $100 bill. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't have any change. Now, mind you, I'm like 18, 19.
Right.
I said, I don't have any change. She said, no, this is for you. You do not let anybody give you anything less than this $100. She said, you do a very good job. And you doing stuff in between with your children, this, that, and the other. She said, don't let nobody give you less than $100.
Right.
What she did was say, look, basically value, right? So of course, from that day forth, anybody that my prices went up, right? And then they continue to go up over time because, okay, now I have the training. I'm licensed. I got the education. I paid for it. All of this kind of stuff, right? And then just the skill set. So,
Right.
mind you, again, one person, 8 hours braiding, have to take a break or two, but I'm still getting it done in about 8 hours, right?
Mm.
Which means I can only do one person a day for maybe, I think I was like 150. And I think I stopped. I might have capped out at like 180 or whatever, because of course you had people starting to, well, the Africans do it for $150, $125, and they done it 4 hours. Well, yeah, because it's 3 of them on your head.
Right. And so that's what you want. You might want to go see them.
So then they go to them, right? And the hair's so tight to where now your edge is thin. Now your edges is snatched back and they not growing back, right?
Right.
So now you want to come back to me because your braids were secure, but
right.
not, you know what I'm saying? They were secure, but not like
taking your hair
out, never able to grow back, all that kind of stuff. But by this time, it's like it's 3 of them on your head done in 4 hours. It's still one of me. And now you want me to perform miracles.
So and now you want me to grow your hair back.
Right. But you don't want to pay the ticket, which at that time it was $185. So now I'm saying all that to say this, because of course I stopped. Like, I don't even do hair anymore. I don't even do my hair anymore. Right? If I don't do my hair, I'm not doing nobody's hair. And I'm gonna say why, because and this is the point. Value.
Right.
Value. Right. I value myself. I value my time.
Right.
Other people will not value your time, your efforts, all of these things, right? Okay. And want everything under the sun for free 99.
And don't even get me started.
But you don't value it. But you got bills to pay, you got children to feed, you got, you know what I'm saying, all of these things, and just your time. The time that you could be doing something else that's valuable or bringing value. So you figure that, again, that $180 of whatever I was charging, that's back in the 90s. So I'm pretty sure that now for box braids, I don't care if it's an adult or a child, it's $250.
Right, because that's people's time. That's their skill.
The time, the skill set, all of this, and this person was, and people in the comments, it's just all, whoo, that's how. Nah, I would do it yourself. Well, yeah, exactly, do it yourself. Because here's the other side of that, and I did comment on it, and I said, yeah, it is totally not worth it. It is totally not worth, because I was diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. Right? Couldn't write because repetitive motion. I'm steady, I'm braiding, I'm doing and edema, all kinds of stuff. So carpal tunnel syndrome, because that, again, anybody that work with their hands are susceptible to that.
Right.
Right? Carpal tunnel syndrome. And going on the side of being a licensed massage therapist, I went through it, but then I'm also treating people with this. Because of repetitive motions with their hands. So you're talking about a braider, okay? That $250 if they've done in 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, that $250 is not even worth carpal tunnel syndrome, sciatic nerve pain. Why? Because you're standing up on your feet for a long time, and even if you sit down in a chair. Now you have, that causes lower back problems,
right?
As well as, that sciatic nerve, because you're sitting down. So you're trying to sit, you alternating between standing up and sitting down, standing up, sitting down. And it's just a lot of wear and tear on the body. So $250 to me, it's not worth it. And that's why I got out the industry, because you have people who will complain about that being high, but not on the other end of the person.
What you're risking.
Right.
What you
They don't
sacrificing for that?
understand or know what you're risking, your health. And then look, 8 to 10 hours for $250. We know in the Forex market, you can make that in a couple of seconds, minutes.
Literally.
Right?
Literally.
And in your bed, on your cell phone, right? Or if you're coaching or something, then it depends. You know, I know, look, coaching, consulting, or whatever, an hour, $250.
Right.
Or more. Right? Some people, look, speakers. Speak for 90 minutes, getting paid $10,000, $50,000 to speak.
Right.
Right?
45 minutes. They don't even speak 90 minutes these days.
45 minutes, or whatever, and getting paid tens of thousands of dollars. And so again, I'm saying that to say that value of, it's one thing to look, you saw I was at the salon getting my hair done yesterday. But not only me, it was my son getting twisted. Well, both of them. One was getting retwisted. The other one was getting his starters. And then myself, girl, listen. I paid and was happy and joyous. Tipped and tipped the assistant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you ever so much. Because I know and I understand. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
On the other side of that. And that's value, because it's service. This is service. People taking their time and to do this. So in order for me to be on that side and then see that with somebody is like, ooh, I ain't paying that. I mean, that's just ridiculous that they charging that much. That ain't not a lot at all.
Because they never experienced that.
Like, for real, the reason why I stopped braiding was because it was going to be $1,000.
I agree.
It was going to be $1,000 because it's not
my
even.
Would definitely match the service and my time and everything else that goes into it. A friend of mine told me this, Coach Hadassah, one day. He was telling me, he said, you negotiate. No, he said, I'm sorry, let me quote it right. He said, people will give you what you negotiate, but not what you deserve. And at first I was like, that don't even make sense to me, right? Like, my mind was like, what? I'm like, say it again. He's like, people will give you what you negotiate, not what you deserve. And so when I thought about it more, and I was like, that is a value statement. Because what happens is that people know what you're worth. They know what your value is. They know what they're coming with. But unless you ask for that and open up your mouth and negotiate that and almost demand that, they're going to give you what they think, not what you are worth, not what your value. They're going to give you what they deem fit you should have.
And it's not even about you. That's all about them. And the reason why I say that is because, okay, you might attempt to negotiate $250, but I'm going to kindly tell you no.
Right.
And you have to find the person that's going to accept that $250.
And that's the freedom in that. The option is, okay, we can negotiate it, because what I'm going to negotiate, right, is my worth. I'm negotiating for micro braids, right? It's $1,000. You don't want to pay $1,000, so you're negotiating $250. So guess what we have to do? We got to come to a very healthy agreement and realize that I'm not.
The agreement is that you got to find somebody that's going to do it.
Right. The agreement is I'm not the cosmetologist for you. I'm not the braider for you. And that's how the negotiation ends. But if you leave it in people's, just like how the lady blessed you with $100 and told you, don't you accept nothing less than this, because she pays you what you were worth. She gave you what you deserve, not just what, you was charging. And just charging that, ignorantly, really. Not trying to take advantage of people. This ain't something that you licensed for right now. You still getting in school. You just got the experience. But all along, You should have been charging more than $100 for the skill and your experience.
Yeah, because look, at that time, again, being a teenager, I didn't know. I was just happy to be doing, somebody's braids and getting paid for it. But at that
Right,
time,
right.
what I didn't realize was that um those the braiding, that wasn't being taught in cosmetology schools anyway.
Wow.
It wasn't even being regulated or taught in
So
cosmetology.
you've been bringing something new. You're bringing a whole new skill.
Exactly. I mean, like,
Because
we know it's been braiding forever, but it's just that as far as like being a licensed cosmetologist for it, that wasn't even taught in cosmetology
right.
school. So I could have been charging
Wow.
whatever I deemed to be fit. But of course, at the time, again, being a teenager, I'm 17, 18, 19 years old. Just $40. And of course, everybody like, shoot, bet.
Right.
We will go to her. But yeah. But so, the thing is when because let's say for services, services, hey, people have their whatever their rates are,
Right.
whatever it costs for their services. They have the time, they have the skill set, they have the education, they have the experience. And so this is one thing, I'm trying to remember how it was said, but you will forever be struggling financially if you cater your rates or your service rates to other people's pockets.
Mm. Mm. That's powerful. That's powerful.
And
Wow.
you can't do it.
At
Cannot
all.
do it.
Because you don't know what. First of all, I can't tell. I don't know what's in your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So why would I lower my standard or settle for something less because I'm trying to calculate what's in your wallet, right? Like, I don't know. You could have $5,000 that you're willing to pay me for this product or service that I provide and offer. And here I am going, well, they don't look like, this might be too high. And, and not getting my full worth out of it because I'm trying to count money in somebody else's wallet. Yeah, we got to stop that. That's what Dr. Swain said, cheap is a spirit. And that brings me back to what Bob Proctor said in that video, because he said the one of the biggest things is the time over money. That's 96% of the people in the world.
Yes.
Time over money. And your time runs out and so does your money because they don't balance. And then that 3% is money over money, right? So here you don't have the multiple sources of income coming in. You got the one thing, so now your time is gone. You only got one source of income coming in. So if that operation gets shut down, here we go out here back at square one or less than square one. We -1, right? So now when we reach that third tier, which is the multiple sources of income over the money, now we have created flowing, consistent income, passive, residual income that now what it does, give us the time back, right? Then it also restores the money that we lost, and it does not stop. Because let's say one of the incomes you have coming, if you got 5 streams of income coming in, and say one of them goes away, you still have 4, but it gives you time to now go and add another one. And the one thing I like what Bob Proctor said was, you can do this all over the world. You don't have to do this in your location. Coach, you in Chicago, I'm in Georgia. We can coach anywhere, anybody, anywhere. We can speak all over the world. You have speakers speaking in Australia. You got speakers speaking in Canada, in the US. We're not limited. So now those sources of income is constantly and consistently flowing to you. And so now you have created wealth that does not stop. And like he said, we make this such a challenging thing, but we don't grasp the concept. So we get the concept of what true wealth is and how to attain it, we'll be all right. But we also got to be willing to do that. Like, what are you willing to do to be financially free? You can talk about it all day, but if you're not doing something, if you're not being productive and active and bringing in the income, then you're going to be the person a part of that 96 percentile. Like, I don't want to be a part of that 96 percentile. Matter of fact, I am a part of that. I was a part of that. Now I moved over to the 3%. I'm like, don't like that too much either. My goal is to be in the 1%, right?
Right. Look, I'm like, come on now.
Right, look, now 3%, I'm like, don't like that either.
Like
I need to be in
don't like
the 1%.
but here's the thing too. And speaking about that, it's value. Because see,
Right.
wealth, it's principles. There are principles. Not only is
Yes.
it principles, there's a behavior. There's a behavior. And so, like I was speaking about that example of, you know, what I saw transpire, and then even what, you know, yesterday with you know, with my family going. I mean, I know that we spent about $500 just yesterday getting all our hair done, right?
Right.
With tips. And look, and I felt like it's like if I could give you more, I would, just because, right? You know, because of the value. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I value you, I appreciate you. Wealthy people appreciate people's time. Wealthy people the wealthy mindset. Let's say that.
Right. The
Wealthy
mindset, absolutely.
mindset appreciates time. The wealthy
Yes.
mindset appreciates people in their service. It
Yes.
appreciates. And so the wealthy mindset does not attempt to devalue anyone, anybody,
Right.
anything.
Right.
That's not what a wealthy mindset does. When we go, and I remember I was 13. We went out to one of my mother's friends. We went, like, I had my doctor's appointment and everything. He came, pick me up, pick my mom up. We went to my doctor's appointment. And then after that, like, he took us shopping and stuff. And then we went out to eat at one of these restaurants downtown Chicago. I forgot what it was called. And you know, look, where wealthy folks go to eat, right? And so I remember, now this is 1988. And I remember when we were about to get up to leave, and when he tipped the waitress, and he tipped that waitress $50. Now, this was in 1988. If you gave a waitress a $50 tip now, they'd be happy. So you figure a $50 tip in 1988, she was ecstatic. These are the types of things that, again, the wealthy mindset does. The wealthy mindset doesn't sit there and try to find all kinds of things wrong, fault finding, in order to not tip for service. The wealthy mindset doesn't try to find fault, flaws, or whatever so that they could turn out and be cheap and not. You don't get nothing like that. It doesn't happen. That's that, again, like you said, cheap has a spirit. And that's exactly what that is. That's that cheap spirit. And if you have that cheap spirit, right? Cheap spirit, that means that's a person with a poverty spirit, you know, poverty mindset. And they'll be like that no matter who they with or where they go. And all they attempt to do is just take. Takes people's time, energy, money, whatever. Take. And wealth is not created in that way. Not at all. It's about valuing ourselves, valuing other people, valuing the time, valuing products and services, and adding value. The wealthy mindset adds value. We have conversations. What is it doing? Is it adding or is it subtracting? Right? generous with information that adds value, though, not just any old information. I mean, because anybody can give people information about anything, but information that adds value, information that would, help you get to a next level, help you to be better, help you to grow something or do something in a more efficient and effective way. Look, we got to get this thing together and these principles together, because it's not, look, riches is a part of wealth, but it's not wealth. Wealth has to do, again, well-being, welfare for the whole, where everybody benefits. It's not, oh, I win, you lose. Everybody benefits. How can everybody benefit? Right? Well, there was an energy exchange, let's say yesterday with the hair appointment. I needed something, they needed something. I was, look, happy to pay for the service. They was happy to do it. They were happy to, receive payment for services rendered and tip and not be complaining about it. Ooh, you too high. It's great service. Why would we have our panties up in a bunch about it? But those are things. Those are the ways. Those are the behaviors. Those are the habits. Because then when you open up to do that, then you can really hear and receive, really truly receive the messages as what we watched in this video with Bob Proctor. Those things that he just laid out, and then being able to actually implement them.
I was on mute, Coach, but I'm listening because I have to leave. But I was trying to hang in till you wrapped it up. But I'm here for you.
Yes.
I was on mute.
Go ahead. But did you want to add something to that? Because the time is almost up now.
You said it. Everything that you said, I 100% concur with. Like you wrapped it up with what to me, for my part. Anything else I had to say about just listening to those wealth values and knowing which side of the spectrum you need to be on and how you need to get there. Right. So yeah, I agree.
Yes. So that ends today's Coach's Corner. We are wrapping it up on this Financial Freedom Friday. And that's what this is about, freedom. Look,
freedom, right?
Listen. Linda, listen. Right? Free. What the word free and freedom means. Freedom doesn't mean there's not a price to pay. That's not what free means. That is not what free means. Free or freedom means that it is without limitations. It is without constraints and restraints. That is what freedom means. There's always a price to pay. But freedom, we want to be able to live freely, live, move, and have our being. We do not want to be restricted, right? We don't want to be restricted. And I mean, and when I say restricted, I'm not talking about, there need to be some constraints and limitations on folks that's going to go out here and wreak havoc. I mean, you know what I'm saying? But with freedom comes responsibility and accountability. And when we're responsible and accountable for ourselves, our actions, things like that, when we have self-control, right? Because that's really that's the only way to really truly be free. Self-control is a fruit of the spirit. And it is the last fruits of the spirit to develop, right? Self-control. Because when you have that, then there is that accountability and responsibility that's there. And then at that part, then we're what? We're sovereign. We are free to live, move, have our being, and there's no constraints or restraints or limitations on our mind, and then we can open up to receive the blessings of, look, these kingdom benefits and the wealth that is here, abundant for everybody. The sad part is that it's only 1% that is willing to do the work to get there. And we going. Right? We're on our way there. So with that being said, that wraps up our Financial Freedom Friday with myself, Coach Hadassah, and I'm going to let Coach Cotton go ahead and take us out. Are you off mute? Are you on mute? Okay, you want me to take us out?
Yeah. Take us out. Take us out.
All right. So again, this is our Financial Freedom Friday with myself, Coach Hadassah, and Coach Cotton, because that's what we do here on the Coach's Corner, to help you get to the next level. So we will see you all on the other side of success. Peace.